Okay, so there we go. Let's just start a fifth session. Just a quick review of the last slide. We had the challenge of internal analysis. We talked about how we are always dealing with the external and internal analysis of our corporation. So we talked about an external analysis, how it goes, and what are the aspects and features of external analysis and how important it is. And now we are digging deeper into how to analyze our corporation or organization internally. And we talked about it, and now we are talking about what are the challenges that we would be faced with when we are internally analyzing our corporation. So first of all, we know that the strategic decisions that we make, they are very much concerned about the resources, the capabilities, and core competencies of our company. And therefore, those decisions should not be routine decisions, as we talked about. We said that our decisions are supposed to be monumental, changing the organization. So that's why they are different. We cannot just copy paste decisions from other corporations. So we need to be, aware of that and be able to make decisions at the right time. Then we have ethical implications, which means that we have to make ethical decisions with reliability and accountability. And then significantly, those decisions will influence the firm's ability to earn above average returns. So that also explains how the decisions that we're making in the corporation are supposed to make changes in the sense that it will make us perform in the above average level. So we talked about this slide. I think we just stopped there. Now we go and move forward to more of the challenges that we face. So basically, to develop and use core competencies, managers should have courage. It's courageous decisions that they have to make. They have to have self-confidence. They have to be confident about the decisions they make. Of course, they're always consulting and discussing the decisions and the matters with their assistants and employees, but it is very important that they be confident about their decision and be able to make that decision. They have to have integrity also. Integrity in the sense that they have to walk their talk and practice what they preach. They cannot just say something and do something else. So that's a matter of integrity, and it's very important for the managers because it happens sometimes that some corporations, the managers, they say something and their performance and their decisions don't comply with their sayings. And then the capacity to deal with uncertainty and complexity. So basically, decision making and being at the management level position, it takes a lot of risk taking, and you need to be able to make decisions at the times of uncertainty and complexity. So that's like a normal status for a manager to be able to surmount the challenge of making decisions at the uncertain times when there are complicated situations, and you need to be able to find the right solution and take the right action. And willingness to hold people and themselves accountable for their work. So they need to be able to feel the responsibility. They need to be held accountable for what they do and what they say and what they make happen in the corporation. They cannot just come and make a decision and then disappear, and then they expect that they wouldn't be accountable. When they are given this position and they are given the role of a leader, the leader is supposed to be accountable to the followers or the employees and to the company. So if they make a wrong decision, they need to take the responsibility responsibility. Okay, so more of the levels and how they develop the resources, capabilities, and core competencies. It sort of starts from the bottom. We talk about resources like they are tangible or intangible. So tangible in the sense that they are measurable, they are sometimes physical, and tangible stuff that are not physical or necessarily easily measurable. And then they create the capabilities and then core competencies, and then it will help us to discover core competencies. Okay, let's talk more about resources. What do we mean by resources? Basically, resources are the source of a firm's capability, as we showed in that chart. From resources, we create our capabilities. Our capabilities use our resources. They are broader. I mean, they are very broad in terms that whatever we have in our corporation are sort of resource, and they cover a spectrum of individual, social, and organizational phenomena. So it's not just necessarily about the individuals or employees or the organization. It includes all of that, and also the social aspect. And they alone do not yield to competitive advantage. That's very important because, excuse me, resources are mostly accessible to much broader people. But what makes the difference is that our capabilities to use up those resources and create something out of them. So basically, that's how resources are useful. So and that's how we create core competencies and later on competitive advantage out of them. So it's very important to understand just having the resources or being able to buy the resources is not going to help us to have the competitive advantage. So it happens a lot in corporations that they have a lot of resources, but they are not able to utilize those resources properly, and that's how they go out of business. So it's very important to take decisions at the right time. We talked about Blockbuster or a lot of movie companies that they went out of business compared to Netflix. So that's a good example to just bring it up again, that they had the resources, but they didn't use it in the right way, and that's why a company like Netflix was able to take the pie and share of the market, because they were able to take the right decisions, and they're using the same resources, but they made the right decision at the right time. And the resources are firms' sets, and including people and the value of its brand name. So basically the brand name, this is more of an intangible version of the resources. So they represent inputs into a firm's production. So we have the capital, equipment, skills of employees, brand names, financial resources, and talent managers. So we talked about it a bit last week, that how all these aspects are important in in the firm's competitive advantage, which is due to resources being utilized in creating our core competencies. So the capital, all these are more of tangible versions. I mean, skills of employees, we can measure them. And the brand names of, let's say, the corporation, what type of brand are we talking about? The image of the brand, and the financial resources and talented managers that we are utilizing, getting help from so that our firm can perform. Then again, resources, as we talk, it's tangible and intangible. So tangible resources are financial resources, physical, technological, organizational, and intangible versions are human resources, innovation resources, and reputation resources. As you can see, the difference is the tangible version is like physical, is measurable, it's something you can see, and intangible resources are those that we cannot necessarily measure as easily, and they are probably abstract. So let's pause a bit. If there is any question, please go ahead and write it down in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. Is there any comments or questions so far? Okay, so it seems that we are clear. So we just move on to the next slide. Then more about tangible resources, financial resources, the firm's borrowing capacity and the firm's ability to generate internal funds. So it's more of an explanation of what we mean by financial resources. There's a very important aspect to a company that not all that we make, or all the money or capital that we have, is not exactly what we basically have at the moment. Some of it is out of borrowing. So borrowing is very important in corporations and in our balance sheets. And sometimes we use the financial systems and we borrow money. So the ability to earn, that chance to borrow money from the government or from financial institution is very important, and that's one of our resources, because you have to have a good credit to be able to get that money from financial institutions. And then how you generate internal funds. So you need to be able to make money out of your operation, and like in an orderly and timely manner, so that you can use it up for your corporation. So these are all financial aspects. So how much money you can borrow and how much money you can generate and create in your corporation. Both of them hand in hand help you to build up your financial resources. Organizational resources, what do we mean by that is the firm's formal reporting structure and its formal planning, controlling, and coordinating systems. So how the organization basically will work, like how do we report the structure and formal planning, and how we do controlling and then coordinating of the systems. They're all important in our corporation. And then physical resources, like sophistication and location of the firm's plant and equipment and access to raw materials. So these are like physical resources that we need to move on and create and make the products and services that we offer. So technological resources are stock of technology such as patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. So all these are technological aspects of the corporation, and they all together are tangible resources. Okay. And then more about intangible resources. We have human resource, which is the knowledge and the trust, and then managerial capabilities, organizational routines. So under the tagline of human resources, we have a lot of aspects like our staff and employees. They have knowledge, and knowledge is the power for our corporation. So how much knowledge do we have, and how much our employees are knowledgeable is very important, and it's one of our intangible resources. And then the trust that we have, trust that the customers put in us, and also the employee. That is very important, and it's one of the most important aspects of intangible resources, because without the trust, we won't be able to move on, because for customer-wise, customers need to trust us when we provide new service and product. They need to be able to trust us, and they need to be able to understand that we have their best interest in mind. So that trust is what makes them buy or go for our new products and services. And employee-wise, without their trust, we won't be able to make a difference and really get to that competitive advantage level. So the trust of employees helps us to generate and create that optimal premium level of service or the product. And then managerial capabilities. How capable are our managers is also one of our intangible aspects. And then organizational routines. So what are the routines of our organization? Those are also part of our intangible resources. Is there any questions so far? What about policies, rules, and regulations? You know, policies, rules, and regulations are part of our probably organizational resources, the firm's formal reporting structure, its formal planning, controlling, and coordinating system. But part of it is intangible because rules and regulations of policies have two aspects. Some of them are measurable and just front line, and you see how they affect your corporation. But some rules and regulations, they have other effects which are not necessarily measurable right away. So those will fall into the category of intangible. So there's some factors that are tangible and intangible at the same time. So rules and regulations are some of them, because some of the rules and regulations are straightforward and just they just influence your corporation in a certain way, but they have some other side effects to the corporation, and those side effects probably are due to the intangible aspects of rules and regulations. Then we have innovation resources. We have ideas, scientific capabilities, and capacity to innovate. So all these aspects are also very important. And basically, innovation is an intangible aspect. How much innovation you have is not necessarily measurable. I mean, like certain companies like Apple, they are successful and they're leading because of their innovation resources. They welcome ideas, and they have the scientific capabilities to use those ideas and incorporate them into their policies and procedures, and they have the capacity to innovate, because some corporations, they don't give chance to the staff to innovate, because the innovation is not part of their plan. So it's very important to understand that intangible resources, especially innovation, is something that your corporation has to welcome. So there are certain companies that are very old-fashioned and they don't welcome basically innovation. So, and then it's hard to measure, as I said. You know, when there are sometimes that that your employees or some staff comes up with a great new idea, and then that new idea, for it to be implemented properly, it takes a long time. So that includes a lot of expenses and a lot of issues for your corporation. So that's why a lot of companies, they're not that positive about innovation. But that's for sure a source or a core competency for a corporation. I mean, being innovative definitely gives you the competitive advantage. Then reputational resources, reputation with customers, like your brand name. And then, so brand name is very important these days. People are eager to pay double as much as they pay for a product just because of the brand name. You know, there are certain brand names out there, you know, Louis Vuitton, or, you know, Giorgio Armani, or all those brands that people are paying way more than they pay for just a regular you know, accessory or item that they buy just because of the brand name. So they might just buy a bag that it could be bought by like $200 from a no name or just a regular company, but they buy it from these specific brands and they pay like 10 times as much sometimes. So that's what the brand name and the importance of it does, is basically all the perception and just what it gives the customer. So that's very important, and that's one of our intangible resources. If your company has a name that customers are willing to pay way more than they would pay for a normal product in the market, so you have a very great intangible resource. Then perceptions of the product quality, durability, and reliability. So also perception that the customers have, like you are perceived to offer premium services or products or durable products. Those are very important. So let's say talking about shoes, sorry, there are certain brandings that are known for durability. Let's say Clark's is one of the brands that they have always been known by customers as durable shoes. They will last forever. So that perception already. I mean, when you offer a new shoe, I mean, when the Clark's company come up with a new shoe, that idea in itself that it's durable shoe will give a very good competitive advantage to the corporation because the customers already think of that product as something durable and reliable. Then reputation with suppliers. As I said, we are always dealing with suppliers, so the reputation that you have with your suppliers is very important. You are always trying to deal with your suppliers. So how well reputed you are with your suppliers help you to get better deals, better offers, better timing and everything. So that's also very important, and that's one of your intangible resources. And for efficient, effective, supportive, and mutually beneficial interactive and relationships. So this is also one of our resources, and that is intangible, is effective and efficient relationship and interactions. It could be, you know, with your suppliers, with your employees, with your customers. So the type of relationship you have is also one of our intangible resources. So if there's any comments or question, please feel free to share that with me or with your friends. You can just write it down in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and just talk about it. No comments so far? Okay, so we move on to the next slide then. So capabilities. By capabilities, what we mean is, are the firm's capacity to deploy resources that have been purposely integrated to achieve a desired end state. So capabilities is the firm's capacity to deploy resources that have been purposely integrated to achieve a desired state. So final state that you're achieving is due to your capacity to be able to use up those resources and create those capabilities. Then capabilities do emerge over time, and you use different complex interactions with tangible and intangible resources. So basically, that there is a very close relationship between your tangible and intangible resources. You're using them concurrently. Sometimes you need some intangible or tangible resource to be able to utilize your resources and finally be capable or become capable and create your core competencies. Then your capabilities are often based on developing, carrying, and exchanging information and knowledge through the firm's human capital. So your human capital, which is a very great resource for your company, takes a lot of development and in exchanging information and knowledge within your company. So sometimes, like training that you do in your corporations or organization helps your staff to become more skillful, and out of their skill they'll be more productive, and they all go hand in hand. And finally, your capabilities will create your core competencies, and out of your core competencies you will get competitive advantage. Then capabilities are often developed in specific functional areas or as a part of a functional area. So capabilities is the effective coordinating among tangible to achieve the goals. Yes, Mr. Ibrahimi, it's a very good way to say that. Yeah, it's good. We can definitely say that effectively coordinating and utilizing and even communicating through your tangible or intangible resources you will be able to create those core competencies. So your ability to do that is definitely our capability in our corporation. Then capabilities are often developed in specific functional areas. So functional area, what we mean is what there is a function or operation involved. So capabilities are often developed in certain parts that our corporation functions. So basically, capabilities are where when we are able to make something happen or utilize the opportunity and a chance that we get from our resources and create something out of it. So there's something, doing is involved. Doing something is involved in our capabilities. And the foundation of many capabilities lies in the unique skills and knowledges of firm's employees and the functional expertise of those employees. So as you can see, the knowledge is very important. It's very much emphasized in our capabilities because the knowledge is what keeps us moving. And as you can see, the leading companies in today's world are those that are knowledgeable and their staff are knowledgeable. So they go that extra mile to hire more knowledgeable people that are more expensive, and probably the cost of the creation of the product would go up in a short while. But at the same time, it will end up in a better product or service, and it pays you back. And the functional expertise of those employees is also very important, as you can see. Okay. So before I explain more on this slide, is there any questions so far? Is everything clear for you? Are you following the class? Okay. So let's go to the next slide, the functional areas. To just dig deeper into what we mean by functional areas. As you can see, we have distribution channel, we have the human resource, we have the management information system, or MIS, and marketing. So as we just talked how capabilities are more in the parts of the functional areas of the company. So let's say the distribution. So a capability, an example of a capability is effective use of logistics management techniques. So, and a good example of that is Walmart. As you can see, it's just trying to picture what we just talked in this slide. So the distribution that we talked about is more of how we distribute our products or services, and then capability is how we effectively use the logistics management techniques. And then a good example is Walmart, because they have been doing a great and tremendously great job in using the logistics and sending their products to different regions and being able to use different techniques and prime techniques to do that. So that's a very good example. Then human resources, motivating, empowering, and retaining employees. And Microsoft Corporation has been doing a phenomenal job in that regard. That human resource is the aspect of the company that it's very difficult to measure what you get out of the investment you put in there. Like a lot of companies, they're not much into putting money or investing money in training their staff because they just look at it as an expense. But what it pays you back is a good example in Microsoft Corporation. Microsoft has had a lot of managers and employees that have played a very defining role in their corporation. And it's all because of the stance and the approach that Microsoft has taken towards training, motivating, and empowering their staff. So the great changes that you see and all those innovative changes that you see every single day and all those product changes, as you can see, and they are definitely non-comparable to many other companies, is all because of that approach. And you see how Microsoft has been able to motivate and empower their staff. Then MIS, or which is also Management Information System, is effective and efficient control of inventories through point-of-purchase data collection methods. So basically, what we have here is we have effective and efficient control of inventories through point-of-purchase data collection. So that's what you can see also in Walmart. So from the purchase moment to the time that they deliver the product, you see there's an effective and efficient way of utilizing their inventory. So let's say when they buy a product and it's taken out by the customer or shipped out or whatever, they immediately show that in their inventory, so they are definitely linked to each other. It's not that they just go out of a certain product and then they say, oh, now we need to buy some more. They update accordingly, and that's how they keep track of their products, and they make sure that they in their inventories they have enough in the stock. So it's very important how you use your information system and databases. So a lot of corporations which are dealing with products and services nowadays, they need to utilize efficient databasing and information system management. And Walmart has been doing a great job in that sense. And then marketing, we have effective promotion of a brand name and products. So a lot of corporations have been doing that. Like we have the Gillette and Paul Ralph Lauren, McKinsey, which is a consulting company, Nordstrom, and a lot of different companies that you can listed here. They have been doing a great job in their marketing. Marketing, as we said, is the way you communicate to your customers. You say, okay, we are here, we are providing this product or service for you, and just come and get it. So the way you communicate is very important. It's very, it shows the customer that what they really need is there at your hands and they can get it. So it is important to understand that marketing is the way you make the customer think of you. So what customer really think of you is what you have communicated and the meaning that you have given the customers regarding your products and services. Then we have examples of first capabilities. You have effective customer service. That's a very good capability of certain companies like Nokia. They have been doing a great job for customer service. They have been offering customer service in several languages. So what they do now is they are using several customer representatives that are capable to answer the questions of the customers in their own language. So that has been tremendously helpful to the company because customers will feel comfortable speaking their own language. So they have a lot of different customer representatives with capability of speaking different languages. So that's a good example. Then we have, so as you can see, we have functions, capabilities, and examples. So these are all just examples for you to be able to picture what we mean exactly by that, and probably you can just do the same for your corporation. Then manufacturing. Then, I skipped the management. Management, we have innovative merchandising, ability to envision the future of, let's say, clothing, and effective organizational structure. So this is a good example in these companies like Gap or clothing companies, that's how they innovatively are able to envision the future. So management job is always to see what's going to happen in the future and take some actions to make that realized. And then manufacturing is design and production skills, yielding reliable and also trustable products. So the manufacturing part, which is a functional part, you need to be capable to design them properly and be able to create something reliable, and your design quality should also meet the expectation of the customers. And then R&D, research and development. Your research and development is basically very important in solving the problems of the corporation and how you basically create an exceptional premium product for your corporations. Okay. So any questions so far? Is everybody following and everything is clear? Everyone is doing okay so far? No questions so far? Okay. Okay, let's move on. So core competencies. We have resources and capabilities that serve as a source of a firm's competitive advantage. So basically, core competencies, they distinguish the company completely and reflect its personality. So as we said, core competency is out of being capable, it would be the result or end result of the capabilities that has been utilizing the resources properly and give us the core competencies. So what they do, they basically distinguish the company effectively, and they reflect the company's personality. What is unique to your corporation, that will be depicted and reflected by your core competencies. Then they will emerge over time through an organizational process of accumulating and learning how to deploy different resources and capabilities. So your core competencies, they basically emerge and develop over time, and it's due to the fact that how you deploy different resources and capabilities end of the day. So it's not the matter of only one day kind of thing. It emerges and develops over time, and your core competencies would not be achieved only a day. So it takes a lot of effort to be consistently performing and doing a great job, and out of that time span that you have been doing a great job, you will achieve those core competencies. So it's not the matter of only a day, it's your general policy. And activities that a firm performs specifically well compared to the competitors. So core competencies are those that you do well compared to other companies. So it's something that you are known to be well and good compared to other companies. A good example, let's say, in customer service is another good example is Dell. Dell, they offer great premium customer service for their customers. Customers will be able to call Dell, and they have the telephone consultation, or they just send their staff to help the customers, and they will give them, let's say, another computer if they can't fix the computer at the time, and fix the problem. So you can see how they've been doing it great, and that's why a lot of customers, just because of this core competency, will choose Dell over some other brand names, because they know that the company will be there for them when they have a problem or when they are experiencing a problem. So as you can see, it's all relevant. It's how they do their customer service and how the customers perceive of it. And then activities to which the firm adds unique value to its goods or services over a long period of time. So we also talked about it a lot, that we are dealing with value for customers. It's not necessarily the product or the service that they get, because nowadays there are several different corporations or companies doing the same thing. They are doing the same job and providing the same product, But what really matters to the customers and make them choose you over the end of the day is not necessarily just the product, but the value they get from your corporation. That's how change has been in effect in today's market. Customers will look for value. What benefits do they get from your product? End of the day, the overall benefits and satisfaction is what they're looking for. Okay. So, is there any questions so far? Everything is clear? Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Feel free to stop me wherever you have any questions. And I really like to have some feedback from you here and there. So please jump in and share your comments whenever you want. And as I have mentioned, the class participation is very, very important in our scoring system also. So the 4 criteria of sustainable competitive advantage. So we have 4 major criteria in sustainable competitive advantage. Sustainable means something that you can keep over time. So first, we need to have valuable capabilities. When you have valuable capabilities, those capabilities will help you to neutralize threats and use those opportunities. Because we all, like when we were talking about the SWOT analysis, we said there are always threats to the company, but at the same time, threats could be translated into opportunities for a lot of corporations, and it's only when they have valuable capabilities to use up those threats and change them and create opportunities out of them. So let's say a good example right now for corporations in the economy of today that we are really troubled in most of the world is we are faced with financial crisis in most of the countries. Like Western countries, they have problems with their economy. And what is happening is corporations, there are some of them that are standing out and they're making more money than any time ever in the whole history of their business. And it's only due to the fact that they're able to use their capabilities and change those threats into opportunities. So that's very, very important. That kind of mindset is what we need to be looking for in our corporation. We are just understanding the threats and just being able to distinguish the threats is not what you need to do in your corporation. What you really need to do is to be able to change those threats or problems or challenges that everybody's facing and create opportunities out of them. Then rare capabilities. You know, your capabilities should be distinguishable. Should be stuff that not everybody has. It should be something different. It should be something unique to you or your corporation. Then it should be costly to imitate. It's like it shouldn't be easy for your corporation, for other corporations to just copy what you do. So a unique and valuable organizational culture or brand name, a good example. Ambiguous cause. The cause and uses of competence are unclear. So you can see all these different types of capabilities. For social complexity, interpersonal relationships, trust, friendship. Like a lot of banks nowadays, those who are doing well, a lot of community banks, because like banking industry has changed a lot and customers are so demanding nowadays. So what makes some of the banks perform much better and be able to surmount the challenges and threats of the economy is just those relationships they have with their customers. So their friendship, the trust that the customers give to them are very, very important in helping them to successfully manage and surmount the challenges. And then non-substitutable capabilities, no strategic equivalent. So there are certain capabilities that you can't really change. You don't have any alternative for that. Those are stuff that they're very, very unique to you again. So what this would say is that no strategy or no other tool would be able to be substituted instead of those capabilities that you have. You know, those unique capabilities, like what I said in your in the Dell example or the Nokia example, that their capability to provide great customer service is something that is not substitutable. There's not that a company says, okay, we don't need to provide great customer service, and I mean, in order to compete with Dell, we do this. I mean, they do some other strategy, because that is something that customers care for. So that's not possible, basically, for somebody to come and say, okay, let's use a strategy in order not to do that. So certain unique core competencies would not be able to be substituted with something else. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. So now we are moving on to a very, very important concept in basically business strategy. I really want you to pay a very close attention to this new topic that we're going to discuss for the next few slides. I really want you to understand it and be able to digest it and be able to picture that in your corporation and whatever business that you do. So please stop me if you don't understand any part. This is very important. The understanding of value chain analysis is extremely important. Value chain analysis was discussed in Michael Porter's book, Competitive Advantage, that he wrote in 1985, which was the turning point in basically business strategy concept. So I really want you to pay close attention. This is as important as competitive advantage and a lot of other important topics that we discussed. So value chain analysis. What we are talking about is basically is something that allows the firm to understand the parts of its operations that create value and those that do not. So it's very simple, you know. It's important, but very, very simple. So analyzing your value chain should give you this understanding that what are those operations or what are those chunk sizes of your corporation that create value and which one of them do not. So it would be obvious that, of course, you are going to get rid of those non-value adding operations because they are just redundant or useless, or we don't need them. So basically, you need to be able to analyze and understand what operations, what factors of your corporation give you value and which ones do not, and be able to get rid of those that do not give you the value. So basically, your value chain is a template that firm uses to understand their cost position and identify multiple means that might be used to facilitate implementation of a chosen business level strategy. So basically, your value chain helps you to understand what your position at costing is, and also it helps you to understand different means that you can use to facilitate a certain business level of strategy. Okay, so let's dig deeper into that. Value chain analysis also, it has two major parts, which is primary activities and support activities. Primary activities, of course, as the name entails, means those activities that are primary to your company. The creating the product, physical product that you're selling to the customer, how you create, that's very important. That's a primary aspect of your company, and that's one of the most value-adding operation part of your corporation. So you need to analyze it properly. And then the product sale and distribution to buyers, how you get the product to the customers is also very important. And then finally, the product service after the sale. So how you provide the service after the sale, like those two examples that I mentioned, the Nokia and also Dell. The way they provide the service after they sell the product to the customer is very important. So all these three are extremely important in how you add value to or create value for customers. And being able to analyze them is very important. Then support activities is you need to be able to provide support which is necessary for the primary activities to take place. So this would be pictured value chain analysis. So basically, value chain shows how a product moves from raw material stage to the final customer. And to be a source of competitive advantage, a resource capability must allow the firm to perform an activity in a manner that is superior to the way the competitors perform it, and to perform a value-creating activity that competitors cannot complete. So as you can see here, by value chain, we are basically discussing how from scratch we get to the end product. So it's the value chain, because the value chain, all that matters is how you move from raw material, from your basic resources to the end product. So within this process, you have added value to that raw materials, and you created something new for the customers, and that's what they buy from you. So basically, that's what we're dealing with at the value chain. And basically, to be a source of competitive advantage, a resource or a capability should allow your firm to do something in a competitively different way compared to other competitors. So let's say what makes Apple different from other companies is not just that they're making computers, is the process that they go through, the innovation and all those capabilities that they have that creates that end product. And that end product, the value that it adds to the customer or gives to the customer, makes them choose, and that's how they achieve the competitive advantage. So and also we are trying to perform a value creating activity that competitors cannot complete. So it's unique to your corporation. Not everybody can follow what you say, or what you do. So any questions so far? Do you understand the meaning of value chain so far? Is it clear? And is it clear how we are going to analyze it? Is everybody following it? Okay, no questions? Okay. So all we discussed, this chart is very important. Please take note here. This is something you also want to definitely include that in your assignments. This is all we have been talking so far, and this is your value chain. So the value chain that we have been talking about is your primary activities. As you can see on the right-hand side, they are in kind of orange or yellow color, and then on the left-hand side, we have the support activities that are in green color. So all these, the green and the yellow color thing, will cost you. So there will be a cost of the operation, and then the margin is the extra money that you make, and then the total will be what you will cost to the customers. So you have your value chain, and then your margin is where you add your profit, and then your final price would be something which is at the peak of this value chain, is what will get to the customer. Okay, so let's just talk more about value chain and the elements of primary activities and support activities. Just take a look here. Just keep that in mind. This is one of the most important topics of our business strategy. Please take note of that, and try to understand. Whenever you have a question, just stop me, and even after our lecture today, later on, just try to write it down, and then try to use examples of your corporations and see which is which in your industry, or I mean in your organization. So let's discuss them one by one. Yes, I will discuss them one by one. Just get a feeling of how it looks, and then we go to the next slide. Okay, so as you can see here on the right-hand side, we go to the primary aspects first, and we discuss them, and then we go to the support activities. Okay, so inbound logistics is those activities that you use to receive, store, or disseminate inputs to a product, like materials handling, warehousing, inventory control, and blah, blah. So basically, inbound logistics is how you bring in your material from outside, your resources, or your basic material that you need to start processing and create the product. So how you bring in what you need to work on. Let's say if you're if you create books or papers or whatever, if you create books, what you bring in is you bring in the text, you bring in papers, you bring in patents, and all those stuff that you bring in. How we can collect raw materials? Yes, exactly, Mr. Ibrahim. It's the process of bringing in like the raw materials. So whatever you do, if you're a retailer, all those products that you bring in and sell to the customers, it's the way you bring in all those products is your inbound logistics. Then the operation. The operation is where you work on those products and you convert the inputs to your basic raw materials, and you make the final product. So you machine, you package, you assemble, you just give them the final on-the-shelf product out of the store. You know what I mean? So first you bring in the materials, which is inbound, then you do the operation, and the outbound is, of course, sending it out, how you ship it out to the customers. So your ability to collect, store, and physically distribute the products to the customers, or finished goods, is also order processing. Everything is called logistics. Like a good example here, is for inbound and outbound is basically like just let me exemplify certain companies that do one and then just go from there. Like outbound logistics, a good example, very, very good example, would be Amazon. You know what Amazon does? Amazon is focusing on being an outbound logistic kind of company. So of course it has all these aspects, like the material, like for them the material is just getting the product and the quote the price, and the operation would be most of it with the information technology version, how you get it out to the customer. And then it's very much focused on the outbound logistics, means that how they send it out to the customers. I see Mr. Liasi has raised his hand. Please go ahead and ask your question, Mr. Liasi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sure. Please go ahead.
I have some problems with my computer, especially with the mouse, so I haven't been able to contribute into this. Just my question, when I looked at the diagram which you showed before, the chart, the primary activities looked like in a vertical way, and the support activities are in kind of a horizontal one. Okay. Is that something special, or is just for the design to be like this? Thank you.
Sure. Very good example. I appreciate your attention to that point. It is it's not just a design, and there's a reason behind it. And the reason is that your primary activities, they are vertical because they are the basic roles that your corporation plays to create and make the product. But support activities, they are horizontally layered there because they are going along your primary activities. So while you're doing your primary activities, the support activities is just along that being done. So that's why it's like, aside from your major activities, you do some support activities to help and complement your primary activities. So that's why they are horizontally layered. And the vertical shows that how they go from one step to the next. But your support activities, they are done at the same time. So that's probably the difference, because you do inbound first, and then you do the operation, and then you do the outbound, and then you do the marketing and sales, and then you do the service. But for your support activities, you do them all together. You do a procurement and all this stuff.
Okay, great. And then why we have two margins?
Well, margins are because each of them, your primary and your support activities, each of them have their own cost. And for your cost, for sure, you need to break even, and at the same time, on top of it, you need to have some profit. So margin for both of them, like the total cost of primary and support will be a final cost. So there will be a margin for the final cost, and that will give you the final price for the for the product or service that you're providing. So it's not necessarily two margins, but it's the margin over the cost of your product, of your primary and secondary or support activities together. There is a margin over that, and that gives you the final price.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So there's a question here from Mr. Ibrahimi. How can we collect raw materials where from and etc. Okay. I think you were just explaining it. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. Sure. Okay. So we discussed all these three parts of the primary activities. Then the last two are as important, or sometimes more important, is that the activities completed to provide means to through which customers can purchase products and to induce them to do so. Yes. So basically, marketing, we have been trying to discuss that in the marketing course so far, that basically is helping the customers to make the decision. So marketing is just communicating what you did in your corporation and your presence and everything, and at the same time helping customers choose you over other companies and helping them to finally make the decision of the purchase. Because regardless of what you do, what tremendous job that you might do in your corporation, if you're not able to communicate it to your customer, and if you're not able to make the customer choose you and finally make that decision of the purchase, the business and the transaction will not go through, because major part, a very important part of the transaction is the time that the customer agrees to pay for your products or service. So it's very important to understand that basically it's the matter of how you present your product and service and how you convince the customer to finally buy or pay for your product. So it's really important how you do sales. because that's like a very important part of the corporation or the organization. Because if you do a great job in creating a fantastic or phenomenal product, but you're not able to sell it, you would go out of business. And that has happened to many of the corporations nowadays, my friends. So so it's very important to be able to make those sales, and it's very important to make the customer purchase the product at the end of the day. You know, if you, like how you advertise, you promote, you use distribution channels and everything. And we have been discussing that in our marketing class, and we'll discuss much more. But it's extremely important. So basically, these last two are more of the front line. You know, there are certain times that we just see the. I mean, as customers, we mostly only see these two, and we are just facing the marketing and the service part. We are not much aware of the back shop, like the inbound and the operation and the outbound, because that's mostly the concern of the company. But as customers, we mostly see the marketing and the service. And of course, the service, as you all know, is the activities designed to enhance and maintain the product value. So how you repair, how you do training, how you adjust, you know, all of the stuff are the service. Like the recalls that the companies do, like Toyota recalled a lot of cars of it. About 1 million car was recalled last year because they had a problem with their you know, brakes. So their brakes were not working properly, so they had to recall and then fix them, and you know, all those. So these are part of the service. So so that is also very important for the, you know, for your corporation. And then each activity should be examined relative to competitors' ability and rated as superior. Excuse me. So superior, or equivalent, or inferior. So each of these primary activities would be rated as either superior, equal, or inferior to the competitors. So that's how you compare yourself to your competitor. So that is also very important. So these are for primary activities. Any questions so far? Anything you want more explanation about, or you want to comment, or just give an example or something like that? No questions so far? Okay. So let's move on to the next slide. Then we go to the support activities that we said they are along the way, and at the same time concurrent to primary activities. They're done concurrently to that. So activities completed to purchase their inputs needed to produce a firm's products, raw materials, supplies, machines, laboratory equipment. So procurement is basically, we are dealing with those activities that you complete to purchase the inputs. So it's more of a, like the inbound is basically to bring them in, but how you purchase them and, you know, make those input available is like your supplies, machine, and laboratory is more of your procurement. It's done concurrently, you know, for your corporation. So to help you understand it better is, let's say your company is, let's say you're producing fans, okay, fans. So for your fans, you always need certain stuff. So let's say if you're just dealing with a certain type of fan that you have, so you need certain products to be purchased and then bought from certain places. So that process of, you know, making sure that those materials are purchased and the inputs are confirmed and everything, is your procurement. But then bringing those stuff into your corporation, that's your inbound. You know, basically, according to answer your question, Mr. Ibrahimi, it's more of inbound. I mean, procurement is very much related to inbound. You just want to make sure that your basic, you know, inputs are available, raw materials are available. Can you hear me, everybody? Oh, okay. So, sure. So basically, that's about your procurement. And then I saw another question. Let me see. Relationship between chain and value chain. I don't know where you got the chain. We have only value chain. We have been discussing the value chain. So the relationship between chain and value chain. Where you got the chain? Oh, the supply chain. Supply chain is basically, it's a different concept. It's how you supply get the supplies from your suppliers. So it would fall into the category of procurement and the inbound and everything, but it's different. It's different. But value chain, as I discussed, is more of how you add value from the basic material to the end product for the customer. It's basically for your corporation. Supply chain is how you you have your relationship with your it's everything that you do in your company is part of your value chain in that sense. So it's not necessarily exactly here, but it's a different way of looking at things, because for value chain is value chain analysis. You are trying to understand whatever you do in your corporation should fall somewhere in this chart that we call value chain. So because it's not, if it's not adding value, it should not be done in the company. So basically, in that sense, it's a different way of looking at what you do. It's as if you sit down and say, okay, in a day, what do I do that is helping me and helping me to succeed and do my job, and what do I do that is just wasting my time? So basically, that's a version of analysis that you're talking about, and it's very important nowadays. So, but the supply chain is more of how you get your supplies. You know, it's a different way of looking at things. A good example of value chain will be like you're producing fruits in Afghanistan and delivering to Dubai. And yeah, I mean, value chain is like for every organization and company. If you're not adding value, it's just a matter of it's just useless. Does procurement include inbound and outbound? Procurement, as I mentioned, is more of about inbound. I mean, it's like how you make sure that the products or the materials you need are available to you. This is more of a the beginning part. Then the technology development, activities completed to improve a firm's product and the process used to manufacture, the research and everything. So technology development part is also done concurrently and continuously. You need to understand that your support activities are done concurrently and continuously. Because let's say for inbound and all those primary activities, for every certain product or service, you do it like probably at a certain time, but these are done at the same time continuously. So you're continuously procuring, you're continuously developing your technology to be able to manufacture and create the products. And then you have human resource management, which is activities involved with recruiting, hiring, training, and developing. There is also a reason that they call these support activities, and you can see them here back in the chart. The support activities basically is most of the time only cost to the company. As you can see, they all cost to the company, but the support activities, they are more costly, and for you to get the benefits out of them, it takes much longer. But your primary activities is just doing your job to get the product and make it available to the customer. It's just very simple. But your support activities is where you do some support and extra cost to your company to make it different. So that is also probably something helpful for you to be able to understand it better. Okay. So we did cover these. Then let's go to the next slide. So firm infrastructure activities to support the work of the entire value chain. Firm infrastructure is those activities that the work of the entire value chain, like general management, planning, finance, accounting, legal, government relationships, all of them that effectively and continuously identify external opportunities and threats, identify resources and capabilities, and support the core competencies. So the firm infrastructure is basically what we mean is the activities that support the work of the entire value chain. Like, as you can see, the good examples are general management, how they plan, how they deal with finance and accounting, and then legal side of the corporation and the government regulations and everything. So all of that are the firm infrastructure. So each activity should be examined relative to competitors. And then again, we have superior, equivalent, and inferior. And then we have another aspect here, which is called outsourcing. Outsourcing is very important also. Outsourcing is how you send the products. I mean, it's like, I think it's better if I stop here because it's also very important, outsourcing. I don't want to rush it through. So what I will do, we'll take care of outsourcing next session. I want to stop here because I don't want to confuse you here. So we just stop by end of the value chain, because outsourcing will take some time for explanation. So let's do the task now. Okay, the task would be, get back to this basic value chain chart. So I want each and every one of you to draw this chart for me, and then write the same stuff like inbound logistics, operations, outbound, marketing, service, and everything, and write an example under them. Like inbound logistics, like something. Operation, like something. Outbound logistics, something. And then procurement, technological. And I want it to be your example. I want it to be from your corporation and industry and organization. Okay? So I want you write it, you just draw the same thing, and then you just write an example. So try to use your own company as much as you can. I rather don't get imaginary or unreal examples. I won't, because as I said, the whole idea of this course is to help you to succeed and do a better job in your own career. So if you cannot use this for your own company, I mean, what's the point? Because we are trying to equip ourselves to be better and perform better. So let's try to use as much as you can from your own corporation, so that way you understand it better, and you know you can apply it, and you can see how it works for your corporation. So please try to give me real examples. Okay, so I write it down one more time. Please draw the value chain chart, and then provide examples from your own company, organization, or firm. Okay. Ms. Azizo, I have emailed everyone the whole presentation. I mean, I sent you two mails. I mean, one mail with two attachments that had all the presentations from the beginning to the end. So you should have that in your email already. I have sent it like the first session, after the first session. So you most definitely have these slides, and just you can refer to them. So just please take a moment and start doing it. As I said, I want you to do it in the class. So just do it right now. Just it's like an in-class task, and feel free to share that with your customers. You will get extra points for that, and I just give you a moment to start working on it, and just get back to me. I'm here and waiting for you to share your answers with your with your classmates. Okay, I've been receiving messages that you haven't received that email that I sent you, the slides. I want to see how many of you have received it. Can you please confirm here? Because I sent it to the email that you provided us with, and I never received any failure in delivery. Okay, Mr. Barak has it, and you also have access to the online materials from the school. So they have given you a password, a username. They have it there also. So you should be. I mean, I just sent it to you, something that you would have it from me also. But you could easily log in to the website of the school, and then you can take it from there also. So I don't know why you're still having this issue of the slides. But I will send it to you again today. But please, this is the last time I'm sending you this slide. You are supposed to log in with your password and username, and you should be able to download it from there. So it shouldn't be an issue, but I just send it to you again. No problem. Okay, so anybody wants to share his or her example before we end the class and go to the next class, our marketing class? Shall we have some examples? Okay, what I will do, I will send the slides one more time to you, but please know that you can also log into with your password and username and download it from there. And that's because we record all these classes, and that's where you can log back and listen again to the course. You know, those are the materials available on the website. So please use all these tools that the school is providing for you, and you know, these are just to help you to be able to go through the materials. So please use that. I will send you again today, but make sure I'll send you again. Sure, no problem. As I said, please also log in, use your password and username, and log in and download it from the website also. Okay, we have Mr. Barak's example, email logistics, importing, distilling, operations, making capsules from filling. Okay, marketing to the local market, services being doctor visits. Very good, Mr. Barak, great. And also your other part, also your procurement, technological development, human resource, and firm infrastructure. Okay, so don't forget to do the second part. Okay, no problem. Thank you. So we end our class here, and I'll see you in the next class, in the marketing class. I hope you all have a great week, and feel free. I mentioned that again. Please use your username and password and log in. I will ask the admin to email you. Seems that you're not using your materials online. All our classes are recorded and they're put in there, so you can refer back to them. You can use the slides. The slides are available for you, and even though I have already sent it to you, I will send it again. But please make sure this is not an issue from now on. I really want you to be able to log in and use your materials online, and we shouldn't be discussing this after 5th session. I was expecting you to go through the slides before coming to class. So I was presuming that everybody has the slide. I have already sent them to you, and you have access to your slides and materials from the website of the school also. So please make sure that this is not an issue again. And next session, I don't want to be hearing that I didn't receive the slides or everything. So no, the whole slides are in the library. It's like the whole business strategy and marketing is in there. So please refer there. But I will just send it to you again today. But I really want to make sure that this is not an issue for the next sessions. Okay. So I'll see you in the next class, and I'll make sure that the admin has it there. I will ask them to put it there if they don't. So and I will email you again. So thank you, and have a great week, everyone. I'm expecting to receive these tasks by end of next day, and you have a wonderful time, and see you in the marketing class. Thank you for attending the class, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and goodbye.